Have you ever wondered why someone says one thing but does another, and it leaves you feeling like you're losing your grip on reality? A woman might tell you she wants a stable, kind, dependable man, but when you give her exactly that, she looks bored, distracted, and eventually pulls away towards someone chaotic, unpredictable, and a little dangerous. That's the sting of stated preferences versus revealed preferences. People love to describe what they want in words, but their actions reveal the truth. And in dating, actions always win. Picture this: she tells you she's tired of immature guys, that she's ready for something serious, that she wants a man who treats her like a queen. So you show up, you're consistent, you send good morning texts, you plan thoughtful dates, you give her attention without games. And yet, you watch her interest fade. Her replies grow shorter. She takes longer to respond. Suddenly, she's busy, and her laughter that once sparkled at your jokes now feels flat. Meanwhile, the same girl who begged for maturity is sneaking out with the very guy she swore she was done with, the reckless one, the one who keeps her guessing, the one who doesn't bend himself to please her. You start to question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? Maybe if I try harder, if I show her even more how much I care, she'll see I'm the better choice. This is where most men fall into the trap, believing words more than actions. You're clinging to her stated preferences, ignoring her revealed preferences. And every time you double down, pouring more energy into proving yourself, you dig your hole deeper. Because she's not drawn to the man who worships her. She's drawn to the man who commands her respect by not chasing, not bending, not begging for her validation. Here's the harsh truth: revealed preferences show you what really matters to someone, and they rarely match the neat little script they tell you. She may say she wants kindness, but what her behavior reveals is she craves tension, polarity, and the feeling of earning your attention. She may swear she values stability, but her actions show she's addicted to the rush of uncertainty. If you fail to see this difference, you'll spend your life confused, manipulated, and resentful, stuck in the endless loop of giving what she claims to want and never being the one she actually chooses. Think about it. Why do you think so many men get trapped in the friend zone? It's because they took her words at face value. She says, "I wish I could find a nice guy." So they volunteer for the role constant availability, emotional sponge, personal cheerleader. But her actions reveal the truth. She doesn't give him her desire. She doesn't prioritize him. She doesn't crave him. She uses him as emotional filler while giving her passion to the man who excites her. And if you're that guy, you know the pain of sitting there at 2 a.m., phone glowing in your hand, waiting for a reply that never comes. Meanwhile, she's in someone else's bed, living the chaos she swore she didn't want. So how do you break this trap first? Stop confusing effort with attraction. More effort will not magically convert her revealed preferences to match her stated ones. Second, learn to watch behavior with cold clarity. Ask yourself, how does she invest? Back? Does she initiate? Does she make space for you in her life without excuses? Or are you the one holding the entire connection together while she feeds you crumbs? Her actions are the only truth. And once you start living by that standard, you stop getting played. This is where strategy comes in. When her words and actions don't match, always trust the actions. If she says she wants commitment but keeps cancelling plans, pull back. Don't lecture. Don't demand explanations. Simply detach. If she tells you she's not ready for anything serious, but then acts jealous when you stop chasing, understand this for what it is: control. She wants the benefits of your energy without paying the price of true investment. The only winning move is indifference. Don't argue with words, respond to patterns. Most men crumble here. They chase harder, hoping to convince her to see their worth. But worth isn't declared, it's demonstrated by the way you carry yourself. When you detach from her contradictions, when you stop feeding her games, you take back control. That's when she either adjusts her actions to match her words or she disappears, and either outcome is clarity, which is more valuable than any fantasy her words tried to sell you. Now, ask yourself this: have you ever been stuck believing what she said, while her behavior told you something completely different? Which one of her contradictions burned you the most? And when you look back, do you see how much power you gave away by ignoring her actions? Imagine this: you're sitting across from her at dinner. She's telling you she's so grateful to have someone who listens, who cares, who makes her feel safe. Her words are soft, reassuring, but when her phone lights up, her eyes flicker to it with an excitement she never shows for you. That's the dagger hidden in plain sight. Her mouth says one thing, but her nervous system, her body language, her priorities, they say another. That's revealed preference, and if you don't pay attention to it, you'll build your entire strategy on a lie. The mistake men make is assuming people are self-aware. You think because she says she wants stability, she consciously recognizes her pull toward chaos, but she doesn't. Most people don't. They live in conflict between what they wish they desired and what actually excites them. And when you take them at their word, you end up confused, pouring into a fantasy they can't live up to. That's why you feel betrayed when she drifts. It's not just that she broke her word, it's that you believed a version of her that never really existed. You have to train yourself to listen less to what people say and more to what they choose when no one's watching. Pay attention to where her time goes, not just her promises. Watch who she cancels plans for. Notice the energy in her eyes when she talks about another man versus the flat politeness she gives you. These tiny tells are not trivial, they're the truth. And once you start tracking them, you'll see her clearly for the first time. But here's the psychological trap: your ego doesn't want to see it. Your ego would rather believe her stated preferences because they match what you're offering. It's comforting to think, she said she wants loyalty, I'm loyal, so I must be the guy. It hurts to admit her revealed preference is for the man who keeps her on edge. So instead of facing it, you double down. You text more, you plan bigger dates, you shower her with reassurance, and every move pushes her further away. Because now you're giving her exactly what doesn't excite her. That's why indifference is so powerful. Not coldness, not cruelty, indifference. The ability to pull back when her actions contradict her words. When she says she wants to see you but doesn't follow through, you don't argue, you stop chasing. When she insists you matter to her but never initiates, you don't fight for proof, you stop offering what she isn't earning. Indifference starves the game. It cuts the fuel line to manipulation, and in that silence, you find out who she really is. Let me give you a simple field test stop initiating for a week. Don't ask to hang out. Don't start conversations. Watch what she does. If she values you, she'll step forward. If you've just been carrying the connection alone, she'll vanish. That's revealed preference in its purest form: effort. Words cost nothing. Effort is expensive. That's how you find out whether she's invested, or whether she just liked the idea of having your attention. Most men don't run this test because they're terrified of the answer. You'd rather cling to her words than risk seeing the truth in her silence. But the longer you avoid it, the more control she has. She learns that she can say one thing and do another, and you'll stick around anyway. That's the leash you hand her, and she'll tug it until you're drained, humiliated, and questioning your own value. The deeper cost isn't even losing her, it's losing yourself. When you keep believing words over actions, you start to gaslight yourself. You silence your instincts. You feel the mismatch, you see the patterns, but you bury them under her reassurances. And every time you do, you weaken your own trust in yourself. That's the true damage, not her betrayal, your self-betrayal. So the correction is brutal but freeing trust patterns, not promises, track effort, not excuses. And when the two don't align, detach, you'll be shocked at how quickly your clarity returns. You'll see her differently, but more importantly, you'll see yourself differently. You'll stop begging reality to match your fantasy. You'll stop needing her validation to justify your effort. You'll stand on the solid ground of truth instead of sinking into the mud of contradictions. Now think about your own past. How many times have you ignored revealed preferences because you didn't want to admit what they meant? Which one of her patterns did you excuse, hoping her words would eventually come true? And if you had trusted her actions sooner, how much pain would you have spared yourself? Some women will never admit what they really want out loud because even they don't like what it says about them. She'll tell you she values honesty, but her actions reveal she rewards deception. She'll insist she's over the bad boy phase, but her revealed preference is that she lights up when a man doesn't take her seriously, when he teases her, when he ignores her texts for hours. And if you're the man who believes her words, you'll get caught in the trap of playing the role she claims to want, while another man effortlessly embodies the one she's secretly drawn to. This is where you need to understand the psychology behind revealed preferences. Words are filtered through her self-image, what she wants to believe about herself, what she wants to project to others, what feels morally acceptable to say. Actions bypass that filter. They are guided by raw attraction, by emotional reflex, by the pull of dopamine. That's why a woman may preach about integrity, but reward men who break the rules. It's not hypocrisy, it's the split between her social self and her instinctual self. And if you don't see the split, you'll keep trying to win her social approval instead of triggering her emotional investment. Here's the tactical breakdown when her words and actions conflict. Always bet on the action. If she says she's too busy, but still posts Instagram stories from a bar, the action tells you she's just not prioritizing you. If she says she values consistency, but her history shows she dates the guy who cancels, shows up late, and then makes her laugh until she melts, you have your answer. Don't argue with it. Don't try to persuade her otherwise. Don't moralize about what she should want. That's wasted energy. Your only move is to respond to reality, not fantasy. And reality is this attraction isn't polite, rational, or politically correct. It doesn't care what she claims. It only cares about what excites her nervous system. If you keep offering what she should want, you'll keep being invisible to what she actually responds to. That's why the nice guy always feels like he's running uphill with a weighted vest, while the indifferent, unpredictable man seems to coast. He isn't better. He just aligns with her revealed preference, emotional stimulation over logical safety. Now, does this mean you have to turn into a toxic caricature to win? No. It means you stop being naive. It means you stop bending your identity to her script and instead create your own. You build a life so full of purpose, so full of challenge, that she either aligns her actions to meet you there or gets left behind. You don't compromise your standards for the comfort of her words. You force her to rise to your reality. That's how you flip the dynamic from chasing her validation to making her earn yours. Let's get practical. Suppose you're seeing a woman who constantly hints she wants a serious relationship, but when you start leaning in, she grows distant. The mistake would be to push harder, to prove your worth. The tactical move is the opposite pullback. Match her investment, not her words. If she initiates, you engage. If she doesn't, you mirror the distance. Over time, her actions reveal the truth. Does she step up, or does she fade? You don't ask, you don't beg, you observe. That's how you protect yourself from being strung along. Here's another scenario. She withdraws after a moment of intimacy. She says she needs space, but her behavior shows she still checks your stories, still lingers around your circle, still finds ways to keep you on the hook. This is a control move, withdrawal as leverage. The trap is to chase harder, to reassure her. The strategy is indifference. Don't fight for what's retreating. Give her all the space she claims to need. And in that vacuum, her real preference is exposed. If she values you, she'll return with effort. If she doesn't, she vanishes and you just saved yourself months of confusion. The key is this: stop negotiating with words. Words are negotiable, elastic, often meaningless. Actions are fixed currency. If she's not investing, she's not invested. And once you internalize that, you stop wasting years chasing ghosts. Think about your own patterns. How many times did you argue with her words instead of confronting her behavior? How often did you try to prove you were the kind of man she claimed to want, while ignoring the kind of man she actually responded to? And if you had pulled back sooner, how different would your story look today? What would you think if I told you that every time you believe her words over her actions, you're secretly teaching her how to control you? That's the brutal lesson most men never see until it's too late. When she says she wants stability but rewards chaos, and you keep doubling down on stability, you're signaling one thing: you can contradict yourself, and I'll stay anyway. That's how women learn they don't need to invest, because you'll do the investing for both of you. Think about the nights you've sat there, staring at your phone, crafting the perfect text. You tell yourself, she said she wants a man who communicates. This will show her I'm the right guy. So you send it thoughtful, honest, vulnerable, and then silence, or worse, a lukewarm reply that dies in her inbox while her attention is somewhere else. In that moment, her revealed preference is loud. It's not your words she's hungry for. It's the space you didn't give her, the tension you didn't create, the unpredictability you didn't hold. This is where most men crumble. They panic at her withdrawal and rush to fill the gap with reassurance. But every time you chase, you make her the prize. You tell her that her inconsistency is enough to control your entire mood, and once she sees that, she knows she can keep you hooked with the smallest crumbs, an occasional compliment, a delayed kiss, a vague promise of next time. She doesn't have to invest fully because you've proven you'll stay half-fed forever. So how do you flip this? By refusing to play the word game. You create a new rule for yourself. I only respond to actions. If she says she wants to see you but cancels 3 times, you stop offering. If she says she values honesty but punishes you when you speak directly, you stop oversharing. If she says she's looking for something serious but keeps prioritizing other men, you remove yourself. Not with anger, not with lectures, just quiet withdrawal. That's how you protect your value, by refusing to fund contradictions with your attention. You need to understand this at a tactical level. Attention is currency. Every time you text, call, plan, worry, overthink, you're paying her. If she invests back, it's an exchange. If she doesn't, it's charity. And charity in dating never creates attraction. It creates dependence. The moment you see this, you stop bleeding value for free. You start asking, is she earning my investment, or am I bribing her to stay? That question alone can save you years of wasted energy. Here's a field strategy you can test today. Next time you feel the urge to over-explain, stop. Next time you catch yourself apologizing for her distance, pause. Instead of reacting, mirror her. If she grows colder, you grow colder. If she invests, you match it. That's how you reset balance. Because here's the truth: women don't respect men who can't hold the line. They test contradictions to see if you'll fold. If you fold, you become predictable, safe, unchallenging. If you hold firm, you become magnetic because suddenly she's the one wondering how to win you back. And don't confuse this with manipulation. You're not playing games. You're protecting yourself from them. You're training your instincts to stop chasing words and start recognizing patterns. You're choosing clarity over comfort. And yes, it's harsh, because it means sometimes you'll discover she never truly valued you. But isn't that better than living in a fantasy, hoping one day her actions will catch up with her promises? The deeper shift here isn't just about women, it's about you. When you stop rewarding contradictions, you rebuild your self-respect. You stop gaslighting yourself into believing she just needs time or just doesn't know what she wants. You start honoring what your eyes already see. And in that clarity, you reclaim the power you gave away. Now pause and ask yourself, when was the last time you let her contradictions dictate your moves? How many times have you paid full price for her attention while she barely invested a dime? And most importantly, what would change in your life if you stopped believing words altogether and only trusted actions? Some men never recover from the cycle of chasing words and ignoring actions. They turn bitter, angry, convinced that women are liars by nature. But the truth is harsher and simpler. Women reveal the truth all the time, you just didn't want to see it. You wanted her to want you. You wanted her to choose you. So you ignored her revealed preferences and clung to the comfort of her stated ones. That's not her deception. That's your denial. You have to understand attraction is revealed, not declared. It shows up in how quickly she responds, how much she invests, how far she's willing to go to be in your presence. If you have to convince her, negotiate with her, or beg her to match your energy, you're already lost. Real desire is unmistakable. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't create confusion. And if confusion is what you're living in, that's the revelation right there. Look at the patterns. If she lights up when you pull back but grows cold when you lean in, she's telling you exactly what drives her interest. If she makes excuses when you plan something thoughtful but drops everything when another man sends a 2-word text, her actions are screaming what excites her. What? That's not an accident. That's the map. The question is, are you brave enough to follow it instead of clinging to the script she feeds you? Here's the real danger when you live in contradiction long enough. You start to reshape yourself into the man she says she wants, not the man she actually desires. You water yourself down, you hide your edge, you overgive, over-explain, over-emote, and in the process, you become invisible. Not because you're unworthy, but because you abandoned the very polarity that could have held her interest. You stopped being you in order to be the fantasy she described, and fantasies never win against raw instinct. So the correction isn't to become colder or crueler, it's to become unshakable, to see her actions clearly and never negotiate with them. If she doesn't invest, you don't chase. If she withdraws, you don't collapse. You hold your frame. If she tests you with contradictions, you don't argue, you mirror. That's not indifference as a tactic. That's indifference as an identity. The refusal to let someone else's inconsistency dictate your value. Let's get tactical again. If she keeps you as an option, stop treating her like a priority. Cut your investment down to match hers. If she resurfaces with sudden interest after ignoring you, don't reward her. Instantly observe whether she follows through this time. If she withdraws to provoke you, don't chase, let her absence do the talking. Each of these moves shifts the frame back to reality. You're no longer bribing her with effort. You're holding the mirror to her actions. And when a woman sees her own inconsistency reflected back, she has to choose either step up or step out. And here's the liberation either way. You win. If she steps up, you finally have alignment between words and actions. If she steps out, You've just removed someone who was never going to give you what you wanted. You no longer bleed energy into a contradiction. You've reclaimed your clarity. That's the real prize. But most men won't take this path. They'd rather cling to hope, to fantasy, to her promises whispered late at night, but never lived in daylight. They'll keep giving, keep waiting, keep sacrificing, until one day they wake up empty, resentful, broken, wondering how they lost themselves. Don't let that be you. Choose reality, no matter how harsh, because reality will hurt for a moment. Fantasy will bleed you for years. So ask yourself honestly, how many contradictions are you tolerating right now? How often do you silence your instincts just to keep her close? And if you had the courage to act only on what her behavior reveals, what would you cut off today? She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.